Next up, we have Glitter by Lexicat. This is featured in Geometry Dash, is my understanding. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a Layman-Friendly Analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here, musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever you use, like the video, share it, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, don't forget to join the Discord server, join the Patreon, subscribe to the gaming channel, how to request songs even not on the live stream, members getting early access to the content. I have a spiel for this and a bunch of other things later than this video, so stick around for that. Disclaimers showing on your screen right now, so go ahead and pause the video to read them in full. Otherwise, please be patient with me. I am acoustic and guitared, so please keep that in mind. Also, to note, yes, this week, right now that we're recording it, by the time you see it is going to be the week that just passed, we are celebrating 1 year of LFAs as well as 1,000 LFAs. This week, we are achieving both. So thank you everybody again for an incredible year and for so many incredible LFAs. Let's do this. All right, Glitter, let's go. Okay, so we start with a first synth doing a very quick pickup measure. Then we start with the rest of the band. We have our chord synth, we have our bass, our drums, the drums giving the drum beat, the bass with the bass line. We have another synth up there, the one that did the pickup there, giving us a bit of a melody with rhythm, not very consistent. There's a very long melody that we're doing, which I believe would contain our initial motif. Motif being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed, the essence, which everything else comes from. Let me just think. No, I think the pickup line might have been enough of the motif, and then it just starts developing immediately. So, what is a pickup? A pickup usually is for pickup measure. There's pickups for the guitars, that kind of stuff, but I'm talking about a pickup measure or a pickup bar. Now, for this, let me break down what this kind of stuff is. When you have music, you have three main components. You have melody, you have harmony, and you have rhythm. Melody being the individual horizontal lines of music, counterpoint, that kind of stuff. Harmony, by far the most complicated. The notes that you have available, the scales you get out of that, the chords you get out of that, the relationship between them. I mean, you can just keep extrapolating. And then you have rhythm. Rhythm being the use of time. How fast, how slow things happen, when do they happen, that kind of stuff. Then rhythm, time is then subdivided into bars or measures. These bars or measures, the same term by the way, are then determined by a time signature plus tempo mark, or BPM. BPM is beats per minute. So, let me break this down. Usually, how does this work? When you have then a bar, you have two numbers, upper number, lower number. Upper number is going to be the number of beats in a bar. Lower number is going to be the type of beats that you're going to be counting based on. So in American English, it's pretty easy to remember which one is which. Whole notes are represented by number 1, half notes, number 2, quarter notes, number 4, eighth notes, number 8, 16th notes, number 16, so on and so forth. One whole note contains 2 half notes, 1 half note contains 2 quarter notes, 1 quarter note contains 2 eighth notes, etc., etc. So a 4/4 bar would be a bar that contains 4 quarter notes in it. We count based on the quarter notes, and it is 4 quarter notes or any equivalent amount of time within this space. And you just count numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, a pickup bar or measure is an incomplete measure before the start of the rest of the music. What does this mean? It means that you're going to be counting, let's say we have a 4/4 pickup measure, and it's going to be the last 2 beats of a 4/4 bar. So you can start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it starts with everything. Let's give an example, right? Let's say we have this melody over here. If we were to do, that is going to be C to D to E. right? Like say C to D to E. So we have at the start of the bar, if we were to do this in a regular 4/4 bar, we would be having over here the notes C to D to E over here. And let's say that we're gonna have the chord C major playing on the first beat of the bar. So what would this be like? So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna just count this as a half note for now, so we're not counting the last one. So we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if we were to change things around and move the melody and displace it 2 beats earlier to make it a pickup, but the chord is still played on the first note or the first beat of the bar, then what we're gonna have is we're going to have C to D to E over here, but the chord C major is going to still be in the first beat. So we go from this 1, 2, 3, 4 to now being this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it creates a little bit of a head start for the melody, or whichever parts you want it to be in the pickup bar, which is what we did over here. Then we moved on to develop that melody further, and it's a little bit difficult to tell where lexicat is taking this, so let's see where it goes. Oh, it's because there's 2 lines of melody. Okay, so there's a second line of melody. We have one of them giving us some arpeggios, some descending arpeggios from the top. Arpeggio, of course, being when you play a chord 1 note at a time. For example, here is C major, here's arpeggiated. And the ones we're getting are this kind of. We're getting that kind of thing. So we're having that, and then we are getting a second one in between that is giving us a little bit of counterpoint. Counterpoint being the study of melodies, as I said, how they are, how they develop, how they interact with one another, usually in the context of having 2 or more at the same time. And right now we are seeing that between the synth giving us those chords and the one doing the other thing. Let's see where this goes. Yeah, that melody in between is actually developing the motif. And okay, so we have a brief moment of just the bass line and the music. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate it, for the membership. Appreciate it. Okay, so we bring a vocal. We have 2 layers of vocals, and like a guy and a girl, and we have them singing. So it turns out at the end of the day we are dealing with a song. Songs, of course we call everything a song because it's simpler, but there is a categorical distinction between songs and instrumentals or pieces or tracks, right? So a song is going to have lyrics, is going to have vocals, and these vocals and lyrics are going to be the driving force of a majority of the music. Whereas instrumental music, you're going to need a little bit more for anything else. So we're having this kind of stuff happening, and we have now switched over to the form, to the structure of a song. Unlike with instrumental music, the structure of a song is a little bit more easy to determine. Why? Because we have 2 main building blocks, particularly with contemporary music. You have the verse and you have the chorus. Verse is going to be your baseline level of intensity. That's what I call it, the floor level of intensity. Your chorus is going to be the climax, the ceiling level of intensity. So your verse, you're probably going to hold back on your melodies a little bit. You're going to do a lot more text through them. You're going to hold back in general, whereas the chorus is when you want to go all out. So, what does this mean? So far, for the first bit, we had an intro going back and forth between the different melodies, establishing the motif, the main melody, and now we are in verse number 1. We are still using that melodic motif with the vocals, and we're now just going through verse. Let's see where this goes. I do think this the vocals sound auto-tuned. The vocals sound auto-tuned. I am not entirely opposed to that. The important bit is that we have mainly the bass and the drums. Mainly the bass and the drums. So let's see where it goes. Oh, now we included the rest of the... Okay, now we included the other two synths. One of them is just playing chords, holding down the chords, while the other one is playing the arpeggios of it, a little bit more chimey. So let's see where this goes. It sounds like you're listening to the radio. Yes, the vocals are also distorted. The vocals have a little bit of distortion, so it seems there's a little bit of, like, maybe some pitch correction or pitch shifting, like auto-tune, that kind of stuff. And we are also getting a bit of distortion on the vocals. We're also having two vocals. Let me hear a bit more. So yeah, every once in a while, we are getting a second layer of vocals, as you can hear, giving us that very beautiful harmonization, right? So, harmonization being counterpoint, parallel motion in thirds or sixths. Let me break this down, shall we? So counterpoint, as we said, study of melodies, how they are, how they develop, how they interact with one another. Counterpoint can be measured in many ways, one of which is parallel motion. Parallel motion means that there's two or more melodies doing the same thing at the same time, just from a different starting point or from a separate interval. An interval is the distance between notes. So how do you establish an interval? There's many ways of counting this. The easiest and simplest one is that you take a scale. So let's take C major, for example, because the easiest one, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Then you take a point of reference. Let's take C because we're in the key of C major, and that point of reference is going to be your root or your first. Then you count. Basically, you have root. Up a second is D, up a third is E, up a fourth is F, up a fifth is G, up a sixth A, up a seventh B, and then up an octave you have C. So octave, root to octave, that is the range of the note repeating itself. You can go upwards or downwards, so same as downwards, C, down a second B, down a third A, down a fourth G, down a fifth F, down a sixth E, down a seventh D, and then back to C. So parallel motion in thirds or sixths, which means your first melody is going to start in C in this case, and then your second melody would have to start on E or A, because E is a third above, A is a third below, E is a sixth below, and A is a sixth above. So you take that and you can take any melody, right? Like let's say we have this. If we then do harmonization up a third, if we do down a third, if we do up a sixth, down a sixth. So which one should you pick for your music? That is entirely up to the individual piece. Sometimes it will be better to do parallel thirds above. Sometimes it will be better to do parallel sixths down. Sometimes it just depends on the sound that you are getting in. Ivan, welcome today. How you doing? So we are having that happening right now. We're doing some parallel motion to add a bit of extra adornment to the voices every once in a while. Now we are moving to the next part. This could be either a break or a pre-chorus. Pre-chorus, if verse is your floor, chorus is your ceiling, then the pre-chorus is going to be the connective tissue between the two. Call it a wall, call it a staircase, call it a ladder, whatever you will, but it is whatever is going to make the journey between the two a little bit more easy and smooth. Let's see where this goes. Okay, yeah. So we had a quick pre-chorus, very, very short, basically just repeating one last line of the verse, and now we are in our first chorus. You can feel the chorus is already a lot more upbeat than the other one, than the rest of this. We are going to have more climactic melodies. We'll go back a couple of seconds, so let's hear this, right? Those pickup lines, nice. Pickup measure. So you can hear now that it's a lot more upbeat. It's a lot upbeat. Upbeat just means that it feels a lot more like the beat is gone up. That's basically more upbeat. Something more upbeat means that it's a little bit more energetic, usually. It's a casual expression. It's a casual expression because upbeat is also used to describe like somebody's personality kind of thing. So yes, you can hear it. We're having the melody, similar melody to the previous one, but everything else is a lot more active and everything. For example, the chimes are a lot more noticeable. The rest of the synths are more noticeable. And I love the YouTube chat learning why you don't gamble. Look at that. Yeah, that's why you don't gamble. That's why you don't gamble. Like, the option is gonna be there. You live in a world now where gambling is inevitable. Like, it's everywhere. That doesn't mean it's inevitable. It's your choice not to gamble. Anyway, let's see where this goes. Spinning the drums a little bit there. So yeah, it looks like we might be using the same exact melody. I don't know about the lyrics. I haven't been paying attention to the lyrics. But it seems like we've been using the same melody. And get 10 points. What do you ask? Oh, you'll get them in 10 minutes. As long as you're watching, you get points. So we're having this. I think we're having the same melody, and the differences is entirely on the instrumentation around it. So the melody that we are getting from this, because now we are in our first, I think we're in verse number 2, a more downbeat kind of thing. And right now what we've been basically doing is that the melody we've been using on the vocals is doing an ostinato. Ostinato means that you're repeating the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again with minimal to no repetition. Ostinatos are very often observed in songs where you have a lot of text to go through and you're just going to use the same little melody to develop the text, because then while the melody is doing an ostinato, the lyrics themselves are not. So very useful to do that. And right now it seems like we've just done the ostinato and we're just doing the same melody with everything around it. So even though we are following the structure of a song, we're still using the same melody for everything. Usually, this wouldn't work, but the changes around have been so significant and so, not abrupt, but so, how would I say, substantial, that it really isn't mattering how much. And speaking of substantial, I have nowadays substantial, the Patreon. That's right, patreon.com/JamesRBasterd. Make sure that you follow the Patreon even if you are not doing the paid stuff, because we're gonna have stuff over here. Yes, I have set up the Patreon going on over here, linked in the description. If you want to support the channel more than you already are by watching the videos and subscribing and all that good stuff, consider joining the Patreon. As I said, even if you're not joining any of the paid tiers, do consider following the Patreon, because this is where a lot of stuff is going to go, including the, non-gaming LFAs and stuff like polls or stuff like that. Non-gaming LFAs, what is that, right? What we do on YouTube is inherently fair use, but that does not stop bad actors from abusing the system. So in order to not deal with that, we're going to start putting the LFAs that we otherwise wouldn't be able to put on the YouTube channel, such as anime, film, TV, regular music, all that kind of stuff is gonna go here on the Patreon, free for everyone to watch. There will be paywalled content for stuff like the music lessons series that I have in the works, which is, yes, I'm gonna teach music theory, probably guitar, how to compose music, that kind of stuff, up until how much I can. So, yeah, consider joining today. Linked in the description, patreon.com/JamesRBasterd. Thank you to those who have already joined the Patreon, particularly Real Nemesis and French Guy. So yeah, patreon.com/JamesRBasterd, linked in the description. And back to the song we go. Let's see where our second verse goes. So we go back to primarily the bass line, such as we did in the first verse, but we do have some slight drum changes over here. We do have a drums over here, and we do have the other synth playing the chords. Like, the other synth is still playing the chords around, this time a little bit more audible than the first time. Let's see where this goes. This sounds like a very aggressive lo-fi. Yeah, it sounds like a very aggressive lo-fi. It's not. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It sounds like a more not hard style, not quite hard style, but it's like it's like heavy lo-fi. I like this. Let's see where this goes. Hardcore. That might be a way to put it. Continuing that same melody, we bring. And now we're getting them saying the thing, but we are having this thing said during the pre-chorus number 2. Now, the first pre-chorus and the second pre-chorus are quite different, which is one of the freedoms that you get in the pre-chorus. It doesn't have to be the same exact thing, as long as you are building up towards the chorus, you're gonna be fine. We could also call this one, maybe not the pre-chorus, but the bridge. We could also call this a bridge. The bridge, of course, verse is going to be your floor level intensity. The chorus, ceiling level. Bridge would be basement level. An absolute contrast compared to everything else you've done. That then makes the journey over back to the chorus that much more pronounced. Amaya, welcome today. How you doing, man? So yeah, let's see where this goes. Yeah, I think bridge. Yeah, there we go. And then chorus, yep. Chorus number 2. John, I think so, yeah. Like, we've been using the same exact melody and probably looping the same vocal track. And it's been entirely the instrumentation. It has been, like, this goes to show that this is possible. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Lexicat wanted to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna just see if we can pull this off, kind of thing. So let's see where this goes. And I think this time around there's one more synth giving us some counter arpeggios in the middle. It's a little bit difficult to hear because we have the chime giving us those very lovely descending arpeggios, but then we have another one in the middle right now just going up and down, somewhat erratically rhythm-wise. Let's see where this goes. And we do a pitch shift as a direct modulation. You hear how everything kind of just bumps up, kind of like just bump a step. And now we're introducing the solo. We're bringing in a solo over here. So modulation is when you go from one set of chords or one key signature to a different set of chords or a different key signature. It is a transition between key signatures. The one we just did is called direct modulation. Usually modulation is something that you want to smoothen between the two key signatures because sometimes it can be a little bit too abrupt, the change. However, this one, direct modulation, just means we were in one key signature and now we're in the new one. As you just heard, we basically just slid up into the next one. And now let me hear a bit more because I think we have Okay, yeah, and now we have the synth back, giving us basically a solo version of the main motif. So we bring in a solo. When you're making music, you want to keep a careful balance between what is familiar and what is new. Too much familiarity, too much repetition, too much of the same thing, you risk boring the listener, they tune out. Too much new material too quickly, you risk overwhelming the listener, they tune out. There is one universal exception, no matter the style or genre, which is solos. You bring in a solo, and as long as it sounds cool enough, or if it's enough, you can get away with almost anything, which means the rule of familiarity and new material become a little bit more laxed. So yeah, we're having that. Let's see where this goes. And after this, we're now in the outro, which is bridge plus chorus. There we go. We finish the... and we go for the chords. One more run of the chords. Nice. One more run of the chords. And we end it with a half cadence. So yeah, we do an outro with a bridge, which is a combination of both the bridge and the chorus. So vocally it's the bridge, but the rest of the chords were the rest of the background was the chorus, and then we end with a half cadence. So cadence, right? When you're making music, you're doing one of two things. You're building tension or you're resolving that tension. Point in between we call the cadence. Now, a half cadence, so cadence in general resolution, building expectation and meeting that expectation. Half cadence is building that tension, that expectation, and intentionally not resolving it, which gives you extra momentum so that you can resolve in the following section, resolve in the following piece, or so that you can loop back to whichever spot you want. In this case, that is what we hear happening. And with that, there you have it. That was Glitter by Lexicat. This is featured in Geometry Dash, is my understanding. That was very fascinating. Like, I was not expecting a song, because this qualifies as a song, where every section was the same vocals, and somehow made it work. Absolutely wild, very creative work by Lexicat there, so really good stuff. There you go, Glitter by Lexicat, featured in Geometry Dash, is my understanding. Once again, everybody, this has been the Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here musically. So, if you're watching this on the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever turn you to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, don't forget to join the Discord server. That's where everything gets announced first. Whether it's the streams going live, the videos going up the channels, updates, projects, giveaways, everything gets announced there first. Of course, we have the community there. We hang out, we chat, we steal memes from other people's servers, claim them as our own, and where I host the Vintage Story community server. It used to be a Minecraft mod, now it's its own standalone game. It's cheaper than Minecraft. I love it, I prefer it. Not sponsored by them or anything, I just really love the game, to the point that I built a PC just to host the server for this thing, which is available to join via our Discord community server. So join the Discord today, linked in the description. Become a member of our community today. Also share these videos with everybody that you know. Use the hype function on YouTube. We have a group on the Discord that coordinates for that, for linked in the description, and help the channel grow. Members get early access to the content. I schedule the videos for a week on Saturdays, and if you're a paid member on YouTube, regardless of your tier, you get access to the videos when I schedule them, at least for the LFAs, so become a member today. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting you every 3.5 seconds, I'll be linking in the description down below. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, check the pinned comment on this video. It has the instructions on what to do. If you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim from Monday through Friday with the full-time experiment. We're doing 4 p.m. Central European time. If you're not, we stream live on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick, so that you can tune in from whichever platform you prefer. Again, during the full-time experiment, 4 p.m. Central European time. If you're not in Europe, do not worry. We have the full up-to-date streaming schedule showing in your local time zone in both Discord and Twitch, both linked in the description. So if you live in Papudo and you're like, yeah, but what time is 4 p.m. in Central Europe? I'm hungry. I don't live there. Do not worry. Just go to Discord or Twitch. Both are linked in the description, and they're going to show the schedule in your local time zone, accounting for daylight savings if necessary. And subscribe to the gaming channel. Follow the gaming channel, because of course I have a gaming channel. I'm on YouTube. What else could I possibly have? Games are Basterd. This is where I put the gaming after show recordings when they happen, recorded live during the main channels after. Should we play some video games on the later part of the stream? And then the VODs go here. Thank you again for 700 subscribers. I really do appreciate it. And yes, what happened there? I don't have a script is what happened. Lately, we've been playing through Limbus Company. We played through Just Shapes and Beats. And yes, every game we play eventually ends up over here. So subscribe to the channel, linked in the description. Or search on YouTube, same username as James R. Basterd. Just up the J for a G, and you got it. And yeah, there you have it. Glitter Lexicat Geometry Dash. Man, that was awesome. Really good stuff, man. Really good stuff. But yeah, let's move on.